Hey there, it's Derek here from Pacific Coast Auto in Japan, and we're looking at a 1995 Toyota Land Cruiser Prado. This one has 245,000 kilometers on it with a 3-liter turbo diesel engine here, 4-wheel drive, selectable high and low gear ratios, automatic transmission, locking center differential, and front hubs. Okay. This one here was bought from auction for export over to the USA. And we'll take a look at the condition of the car and compare it to the auction inspection sheet before it goes out. Of course, if you have any questions about the car, feel free to post them in the comments section. Okay, so these engines are known to be quite reliable. A nice compromise between your typical rattly diesel and a little bit more creature comfortable diesel, I would say. It's a 4-cylinder turbo, obviously, diesel, obviously. This one has had the timing belt changed twice, once at 100,000 kilometers and once at 200,000 kilometers, and so it's had proper maintenance, which is pretty normal for most vehicles here in Japan. Of course, not all of them, but many people treat their cars well here. It doesn't, I mean, it looks like it's leaking. It actually isn't. I just opened that up to see if it had coolant in it, which it does. I added another 700 milliliters of coolant because it was a little bit low. Okay, now I'll close the hood here. And overall, it's a good 70 series. These days, it's getting hard to find good 70 series, especially ones that are not rusty. 1995 was a long time ago. That was New Kids on the Block, not even Backstreet Boys at that time. So yes, a very long time ago. Here's the auction inspection sheet. I'll go over this and translate. Anything that's marked in yellow is something that I want to explain is a little bit more severe. So let's go over this. It's 95 Land Cruiser Prado SX wide version. It's an auction grade 3.5 interior C. It's original silver paint, but it looks like it has been fully repainted. And it's maybe something more of a champagne-ish color, maybe a little bit less than your typical champagne gold, like a silverish champagne. Chanmari. Okay, so aftermarket wheels, purchased from user, and lifted up. It looks like it's about a 2-inch lift up with a little bit bigger of tires on it. And tires probably need to be changed. These ones don't seem to have enough tread on them. There's no age on these tires, nothing written on them for the age like there usually is, but you can feel they're a little bit hard. They feel like about 8 to 10 years old. Okay, this is a 285/75 R16, and then the original tire size is likely to be the one that is on the spare. So don't need a spare because you got too small of a tire here to fit onto the rest of the car. It's a 265/70 R16. Okay, we'll go over the rest of this. What else do we have? So it says interior dirty. In my opinion, it's not so bad. Engine oil minor leak. It's only leaking a tiny bit from the valve cover gasket, and that's normal for cars to do that after a while. It's not even going to drip down. It's just kind of sitting there a little bit. Driver's seat cigarette burn. There's actually 3 of them, and the side is saggy. Carpet is stained. Dashboard section is cracked. It's actually not cracked that bad. I just noticed a crack on the windshield that was not mentioned on here. It might have been new for when the vehicle came in. Let me see if I can climb up here. Right there. Kind of does have a bit of a new look to it. Yeah. Some of the glass I can still wipe out. Huh. That's unfortunate, but it is only small. Did you see that? I don't know if there was enough focus. There it is right there. And yes, we can get windshields replaced here in Japan if that's what you want. If it were my car, I would just kind of leave it there. Aftermarket taillights and steering wheel, very small scratches, small dents, and non-glossy paint. Okay, it also says A2 on both of the front corners here, peeling paint over here, peeling paint on the roof, uneven paint over here, some little bit of scratches and dents, but really none of that was worth mentioning. It says U2 over here. I'm not even sure if you could find a U2 on here. If you take a look, the body's actually quite good. Almost no dents, almost no scratches. Unfortunately, it's not the clearest and the brightest paint. And then AU2 on the back corners. Okay, so we'll take it once around. This is one of my all-time favorite cars. Everybody, basically everyone who's ever owned a Toyota 4x4 wants another one. And this is one of the best ones. The Land Cruiser is known around the world as being dependable vehicles, including the Prado version, which this one is. The main difference between the Prado and the regular version is the regular one comes with a inline six-cylinder, and this comes with a 4-cylinder with the turbo, whereas the 6-cylinder doesn't come with a turbo. So you get less power in this, and then there are some minor looks differences. The front end is a little bit wider instead of being pinched in. And I believe, though I'm not too sure because I haven't looked this up in a while, but I believe that the Prado probably has higher rated axles and stuff like that. I'm sorry, not the Prado, the regular version. Okay, so now you have seen it in just about all the angles. And it is a good looking car, and it looks even better when you're driving on the street. You see all these new cars with their overly styled looks. And then you see the simple, beautiful lines of one of these SUVs. And everyone loves it. They're like, oh, you got the Land Cruiser. It's cool. Okay, now let's look at defects now that I've been spending the last few minutes talking about how much I love these. Front grille, some of the paint has come off. And keep in mind, we're coming on 30 years for this vehicle, and most cars don't last to 30 years. We have a little bit of fade here and here, as well as some peeling on the headlights, and the headlights are yellowed a bit. Okay, here's your A2 on the front. It's more like an A3, and a teeny bit of damage right there on the over fender. Okay, this front, the chrome has worn off a little bit. If you look here, you can kind of see it. Okay, more scratches there. All four of the over fenders, the original gasket that goes between the body and the over fender has cracked. And you're going to see this on pretty much all of them, unless it's been redone or been parked inside. But for the most part, people don't park their Land Cruisers inside because garages are really rare, as you can see when you look down the street. It's mostly this kind of thing. There is one at the end there, but that garage is small enough that I'm not even sure if you can park a car into it. Yeah, we got some uneven paint there, or the beginnings of paint fade, some there, and some more right here, and here. The whole roof is badly peeled. Let me just climb up. See this line here? So yeah. Now if I were you, I'd take it to a body shop and see if they could maybe glass coat it and make it better. And on their recommendation, if they think it needs a full repaint, maybe a full repaint. The nice thing about a Land Cruiser like this is if you put the time and care into making sure it's in good, taken care of, in good condition, it's going to pay off. You're going to have a car that's worth more every year after you buy it. Try buying a 40 series Land Cruiser right now, and you basically can't unless you want to pay over $100,000 for a good one. The same thing's going to happen to all of these old ones. And I think especially since electric cars are becoming a thing, there are going to be a lot of people that want to hang on to their gas and diesel cars. And the Land Cruiser is particularly loved by people that don't want to see that change happen. Okay, so the back corners have some little dents in them. There and there. No biggie. A little bit of fade on this back gate there. And then these both open. Maybe the reason why he didn't go with the same size spare tire is you actually can't with the 70 series. If your tire is any bigger than that, you can't open the other door unless you get some sort of a bracket extender to put the tire on into a different location. Okay, barnyard opening doors is cool. You can open just this one if you want to put a quick thing in, or you can open the whole thing. Has a bit of rust in here. This is the only rust that I could find on the vehicle. And you might want to take these off and see if there actually is any rust in there. I don't see any. It looks like it's just on this sill piece, which of course you can replace. Looks like a speaker was taken out there. There's also a big speaker wire in here. Wow, and I just noticed that that's not on very well. And put on with some sort of custom screw. Custom car style here. And rear seat belts have been removed. Interesting. And custom made LED lights. Yeah, so these seats can flip to the side, and most people who have a Land Cruiser don't use them. Actually, in the real version, in the Land Cruiser 70, not the Prado version, they don't have rear seats here. It's only a Prado thing. And then for most of the Land Cruisers, the gasoline's got the 7-seaters and the diesel's got the 5-seaters. That's just the way that it is, including the 100 series, 200 series, 300 series that just came out. You get a little compartment here to put stuff. It's actually pretty big. Has a bunch of garbage in it. But that's a nice little hidden floor thing there. And then the Holy Smokes handles have been removed in the back. And here's the top of the seat belt that has been removed on both sides. Okay, also look at this. Gives you a little bit of insight as to who drove this last time. Real JDM sexy handcuffs. Never seen one of those dangled on the back. Although, if you asked me, which cars have you ever exported that had adult magazines in the back? The only answer has ever been Land Cruisers. I mean, it only happened once, but still, it was in a Land Cruiser. Okay, so the top of this has a little bit of fade here. And this goes on the other side too, but this one not. It looks like this door was maybe painted again. And it has a few chips on the edge here. Okay, and I did kind of show this. All right, that's aftermarket. They're usually orange. Okay, this might be aftermarket too. I know it has an orange bulb in there, but I think that for this year they were orange on the side there. Same goes with these. Okay, so let's travel to the inside here. Okay, so door card has a small rip in it right here. It has been glued back together. It also has a couple of very minor rips. One there and one over here. Okay. Inside the car, typical Toyota seats. And the pattern actually makes the cigarette burns less visible. So see if you can see those cigarette burns now, because you should be able to. Okay, 1, 2, 3, right there. Here's the sagginess. There's actually one more cigarette burn here, but it kind of blends in with the sagginess. Okay, has electric lumbar support, manual slide, manual tilt, and the Land Cruiser feels great to drive. I drove a Lexus LS600 the other day, and I had trouble making the seat fit comfortably for my body position. I guess I'm used to poorer cars because I never seem to have that problem, but on luxury cars like the S-Class 7 Series, I said that it has diff lock. It's actually like the 4-wheel drive and the hub lock. It doesn't have a diff lock. The regular version of the Land Cruiser has center diff lock, and then you can get a front and rear as an option. Okay, a Nardi steering wheel with a little bit of damage at the top. It's not so bad. Here you can see 245, 272 kilometers. It has a wood trim inside that has some cracks, but it's an aftermarket panel that's been glued on top of the regular panels. So you can take them off if you want. This part here, this part here, here, but the regular panel is cracked as well if you look in there. And then this part here. You can kind of see the original panel. It's just a laminate that somebody had glued on top. Okay, it is dirty. It needs a good wash. It's not as dirty as your average one. Stuff like this, that's pretty easy. The fabrics are actually pretty good. It doesn't have a nasty smell in here. And while we know it's been smoked in, it doesn't smell heavily of cigarettes, whether the AC is on or not. Oh, and I just realized now that I didn't check the AC. I did put it on. I didn't actually talk about if it was cold or not. And the battery was a little bit weak, so let's see if it still is. Nope, seems okay. Okay. And it still has some of the compression in the condensers, so yeah, we can already feel the AC. Yeah, okay, AC works. Okay, switcheroo. And pull that key out so it's not dinging at us. This is saggy. I actually don't know how you fix that in cars. I see it pretty frequently. And it looks like a little rip here. I'm not sure what the reason for that is, but maybe speakers a la this one. Okay, the 4-wheel drive works well. We got up into the risky area of our lot. It doesn't look like it, but that part there is actually quite steep. You need four-wheel drive to get up. So I did test it and it works fine. And like I said, high gear ratio and low gear ratio if you need to, but of course you usually don't need the low one. It's a little console here with a rubber band in it. Okay, and into the back seats. Okay, a little bit of a step up to get into here, so it might not be as kid-friendly, but it'll make your kids tough. It's like the latch pin children, if that's the word for it. You leave your children to their own devices and you get good children, if they survive. But this one, they'll probably survive climbing up there. Anyway, you get a nice conditioned carpet in here. It's all good. It's lost elasticity in these, but that tends to happen in real life. And then these seats can fold out of the way to give you access to the rears, and they are in good condition with no cigarette burns or anything. Headliner's a little bit dirty. It looks like it's dirtied from cigarettes. You can clean that out with a proper solution. Pull this handle here, and that goes down, and then pull this one here, clip, and the whole thing will flip up. And that's how you get into the rearmost. Now the rear seat is really only an emergency seat, and you can actually see a couple of dents there. It looks like it was probably, those dents came from the seat belts, because, it's been folded up in the fold-up position for most of its life. And then, yeah, you don't get a ton of space in there. You have to have knees to your ears style for sitting in the back. Oh, and I just noticed now it's missing some of the fins in that air intake thing. Okay. And this isn't clipped up. Those need to clip together properly. 1, 2. Couldn't be easier. Okay, so Land Cruiser. Buy them now while you can. Otherwise, you're going to be sad. How many times have I thought about that in the last 5 years? I should have bought that car. Yep, get one of these. No matter what the condition, get one. You're not going to be disappointed. Okay, so that's all for now. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and have a nice day.